two. Take two and two, one. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way!
9/11 was a horrific, unprecedented attack that, more than 20 years later, we can still feel the impact. It changed the world, and the path the world would take henceforth. There are many well-known stories from that day, stories of heroism, sacrifice, and terror. But there are so many that it is difficult for all of them to become mainstream knowledge. Many stories and legends have since been proven to be fake, such as the man that survived the catastrophe by surfing debris as one of the buildings collapsed. There is one story in particular that is so distressing that it is sometimes dismissed as fiction. Submitted for your approval, the true story of the living dead. At 8:46 Eastern Daylight Time, hijackers crashed American Airlines Flight 11 into the World Trade Center's North Tower. It wasn't long after that firefighters and emergency medical specialists were dispatched to deal with the multitude of distress calls they received from people trapped within the burning building. One such medical specialist dispatched that day was Ernest Armstead, a veteran with over 30 years worth of experience. Ernest had the morbid job of tagging the bodies he found on the ground of the World Trade Center Plaza. Bodies of those that had fallen, bodies of those that had jumped. Each tag had its own meaning. Green was lightly injured, yellow was moderately so, and red was critical. Black, however, meant the person was dead. I had finished tagging everyone from the stairwells when I turned to face the plaza. I had not noticed the people there on my way upstairs because I was in such a hurry, and there was such a crowd of firefighters blocking my view out the window. But now I saw something that was so horrific that I am glad I missed it the first time around. When the plane hit, an incredible amount of debris from the collision rained down on the plaza. Most of it was chunks of airplane and building that had little meaning to me. But amid the destruction, there were half a dozen people or so. I ran towards them, my triage tags in hand. There was a man having a seizure and his eyes were rolling into the back of his head. There were a couple others that I never got to, but I could see from a short distance that they were dead. And then there was the lady with the nice hairdo and earrings. She was an elegant lady, about my age, early 50s. I could see that even with all that she had been through. I could tell that she had her hair done up nicely, brunette. She had on tasteful earrings. She was wearing pretty makeup. And in my profession, you notice clothes because so often you have to cut them into pieces to save lives. That was the first thing that came to mind. This lady is well dressed. When I got to her, I ripped out a black tag. What impressed me and scared me was that she was alert and was watching what I was doing. I put the tag around her neck and she looked at me and said, "I am not dead. Call my daughter. I am not dead." I was so startled that for a split second I was speechless. "Ma'am," I said, "don't worry about it. We'll be right back to you." That was a lie. She couldn't see what I could see. Somehow, I guess it was an air draft or something, her fall had been cushioned enough so that she didn't splatter like the others. Still, her body was so twisted and torn apart that I could only ask myself, why is this lady still alive and talking to me? How can this be? Her right lung, shoulder, and head were intact, but from the diaphragm down, she was unrecognizable. Yet she was lucid enough that she continued to argue with me. "I am not dead," she insisted again. I am convinced she had some medical training, but she knew I had given her the black mark of death, and she resented me for it. "Don't worry what I put around your neck," I told her. "My co-workers are coming right now. They're going to take care of you." After this, Ernest went about his duties. He stepped over the woman and began tagging the other bodies. As he was heading back to the World Trade Center lobby, he stepped over the woman again. And this time she began to yell, "I am not dead," over and over. Ernest insisted help was coming, but she continued to shout, "I am not dead." I can honestly say that I didn't fear death, though I walked for hours in a wretched place I can only describe with a biblical reference, the Valley of the Shadow of Death. I felt death, I heard it, I saw it, and I smelled it. And with that lady in the plaza, I even talked to it. Ernest Armstead's horrific experience, like many others, was relayed to media outlets and has since been recounted in books, including September 11th and Oral History. Following the tragedy, Ernest received psychiatric help and battled with his own perception of what truly happened that day, at times expressing doubt as to whether or not such a thing could really happen. Others online have expressed the belief that it was actually a hallucination brought on by stress or even a PTSD false memory. As Ernest was alone in witnessing the bisected woman, it's very hard to verify anything. It is also possible that the woman didn't actually fall from the building at all, but was instead struck by falling debris. Regardless, Ernest was a true hero for helping as many people as possible that day, and wherever he is today, I wish him the best.